Welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform, and here on Newsfile we put Ghana first. So, as you know, let's take you on a brief journey on Professor Frimpong Boateng's report on alleged involvement of government officials on illegal mining and what has happened so far. So he authored the report and said officials at the presidency were heavily involved in Galamsey. He said NPP bigwigs orchestrated his ousting as a minister. He had allegations of 500 missing excavators, which he said is untrue. Leading NPP officials serve as legal counsel for Galamsey suspects. In this particular regard, he was referring to Gabriel Chiridako's firm and its relation to one of the mining firms, which is a matter that he has already been sued by Gabriel Chiridako. He says MPs sell illegally acquired concessions at 200 Ghana cedis, 200,000 Ghana cedis. Now, the Attorney General's office has reviewed the dossier that the police was working on. The Attorney General says, quote, after a careful study of the report, the various documents and pen drives submitted to the police, we do not find any evidence in support of the allegations made against the persons cited in the report, with the exception of 3 of the accused persons, end quote. We'll tell you who these 3 are. Then, the Attorney General, on that basis, says it is unable to recommend the prosecution of any of the persons cited in the report. However, the Attorney General is awaiting the outcome of the investigations being conducted in the case involving the 3 other accused persons. Now, persons cited in the report as being involved in illegal mining activities, there are 9 of them. Persons alleged to be involved in the sale of excavators are 3 of them. These are the ones that the police is still going ahead and is expecting some results. Persons said to have done acts which directly or indirectly inhibited Professor Frimpong Boateng in his fight against illegal mining, 3 of them. Now, the list of evidence presented by Professor Boateng to the police, a compilation of online publications by a news portal. Attorney General says they are unrelated to the matter at hand. Compilation of signed letters from the Forestry Commission granting approval for the issuance of entry permit to various companies to conduct exploratory activities in specific forest reserves. A compilation of an updated list of small-scale miners permitted to work as at 7th July 2020, a statement given to the police by one of the accused persons with a bank statement of accounts and deposit slip. This is where the Attorney General feels there's some case, so the police should continue. A decision by Shraj in a case filed against Professor Frimpong Boateng by one Arnold Agbodo on concessions granted to Professor Frimpong Boateng's son. Shraj found that his son had done nothing wrong. Professor Frimpong Boateng had also done absolutely nothing wrong. So this is not related to the case in any way. So the Attorney General says, apart from the statement of one of the accused persons and the attached statements of account from a bank which provides some evidence, none of the persons mentioned in the document provide any relevant information in support of the allegations made in the report by the good professor. Now, it is recorded that several attempts by the police to obtain further information from Professor Frimpong Boateng to substantiate the allegations made in the report and assist them to conduct further investigations proved futile. He refused to actually give a statement on oath. He refused to do that. He said the report he issued for the Chief of Staff is all that he is interested in. They should use that. Yes, so that's about it as far as this is concerned. So now, why are people unhappy about the Attorney General's report, which was done by Evelyn D. Kilson, Chief State Attorney and which ended up saying that only some 3 people, that is Seth Mante, John Oforiata, and Eko Ewusi, who there is some semblance of, thing against them. Let me once again begin with the lawyer with us. Bobby, from reading the Attorney General's report, do you agree with the Attorney General that he cannot go to court on this matter?
Well, it raises interesting questions for me. One, is the Attorney General saying that he would need complaint filed and the involvement of Professor Frimpong Boateng to investigate matters relating to the Galamsey, or to ask the police to investigate matters relating to the Galamsey? 2, maybe the report from the Attorney General is limited to only the persons named in Professor Frimpong Boateng's report. If that is so, then the Attorney General obviously is saying, and I listened to the audio that you played, that if for him there is no complainant in this sense being Professor Frimpong Boateng, Professor Frimpong Boateng decides not to participate and assist the police with their investigations, then they have no basis to proceed. Remember, the Attorney General does not conduct investigations. I don't think the Attorney General's office conducts investigations. No, it is conducted by the police or other state entities, and the report is sent to the Attorney General for the Attorney General to recommend whether prosecution ought to proceed and whether the Attorney General itself will do the prosecution, as in the department, not the officer, the minister. And so, for me, it's as if, okay, let's see, Professor Frimpong Boateng, why don't you want to participate and assist? If you have the best interest of Ghana at heart, and you say that you want to stop all these rots, do you have any justifiable basis why you will not collaborate with the state entities? At least go and collaborate with them. If you do and they do not proceed to do the investigations, then we will all know that you have given them the tools and they are just refusing to work. So I have a question, or I have not too comfortable with the approach by Professor Frimpong, but if indeed what the AG is saying is true, that they tried to reach out to him to ask him to to assist them with further information, and he refused to participate. On the other hand, whether the AG's office is saying that in the absence of the information from Professor Frimpong Boateng, the police, the other state entities, I think the interministerial committee on Galamsey is even dissolved. I think so. I don't know where I've not been hearing of them these days.
Yes,
whether
it is.
There is no other source of information that will assist, since they said the persons that they were named in this report flatly denied the allegations. And so the investigators have left it like that. But I think the
Attorney General's report says that police have also done some investigations and it reveals nothing. So it's not as if they just took the professor's document and ended it there. So the Attorney General says, investigations by the police have not revealed any evidence in support of the allegations. The allegations are therefore bare and do not provide a basis for any criminal charge against the person cited in the report, except the 3 mentioned.
Well, then that's, for me, that's if the police have done investigations beyond the ambit of the petition by or the report by Professor Frimpong Boateng. The police is the state entity that we tasked to do the report, to investigate such things. If they say that we do not have any evidence, then the Attorney General cannot prosecute because they cannot do the investigation themselves. But I am waiting to see the outcome of the investigations that would have to continue in respect of the 3 other persons who have been named.
In respect of the sale of excavators, there were some 27 excavators, and these people are indicted as selling. And there was one, Ekouzi, who has a company that was contracted to sort of move the excavators to safe grounds or safe custody. And then the journalist...
And he was also a member of the committee.
Yes, he had his problems. He was a chairman of the party, I think in the Central Region or somewhere. and he lost that position. This journalist, Seth Mante, there's a statement which Professor Frimpong Boateng adds, which is being investigated, which the Attorney General has confirmed that this is going on in a particular police station, where he is alleging that his bank or account was the one that was used to receive the monies and then withdrawn and shared among those people.
Well, like I said, now that it's as if the Attorney General have said there are 3 of them that would require further investigations.
Right.
Let's follow it and see if in the course of investigating these 3, there may be basis to draw other persons involved. Okay. Because I'm saying at the end of the day, we cannot say that it is only Chinese who came to destroy our water bodies. I have always maintained that the Chinese know Ghana.
Okay. Is it justified for people to say that the report says the people involved that Professor Frimpong Boateng indicts, they were called, their statements were taken, and they denied their allegations? People say it appears this is all that the police have done, and that is not enough. Is it fair commentary on the police?
Well, until we see the extent of the investigations or by the police, an objective bystander looking at how the Attorney General has worded his report would suggest that that is all that actually happened. That if the allegation was made against him, and you see, I feel the Attorney General, for lack of a better word, on his angle saying that they wanted Professor Frimpong Boateng to provide further evidence, to assist them, to interrogate. But whether or not the state apparatus did not have all the gadgets, all the facilities to do the investigations themselves without involving Professor Frimpong Boateng, it's something that is also left hanging in the balance.
Professor Frimpong Boateng suggests that he authored this report long ago, and when it became known, the Attorney General appears to have made some adverse commentary and so on. So he doesn't actually expect that, he didn't expect that they would do anything good with it. And as far as he's concerned, it is just lack of interest to investigate. Now, let me get...
something, if I may just add this. You know, crime has no expiry date.
That's correct.
So the fact that the police say now, or the Attorney General report say now, that there's no basis for prosecution now, does not mean that in a year's time, in 6 years' time, whatever year's time, Professor Frimpong Boateng decides to collaborate and bring further evidence, those persons cannot be made to face the law. It doesn't mean that.
Okay, so let's remember that this report that became an issue was actually authored by Professor Frimpong Boateng on the 19th of March, 2019. And it was titled, Report on the Work of IMC So Far. IMCIM, so far, and the way forward. And he indicted a number of people, or accused a number of people, including Lord Kome, Charles Niteko Tego, Frank Esiedu Bequeng, that he's called Protozoa, popularly, Honorable Joseph Albert Kwam, Charles Owusu, and you remember most of these people have come out to deny this publicly. Kwejo Owusu Efriye, Captain Retired Edmond Kojo Koda, Donald Enchia, and an unnamed former member of parliament for Wasa East constituency. He named Seth Mante, John Oforiata, and Eko Ewusi, who the Attorney General believes there's something going on, it should go on. Also, he mentioned Gabi Asarachiridako, Kojo Opong Kruma, and Kweku Bako as people who have done acts which directly or indirectly inhibited him in his fight against illegal mining. What's your view of what the Attorney General has said?
In fact, Professor Frimpong Boateng is the funniest man I've come across in our political space.
Really?
The most funniest man I've come across. And he knows why I'm saying this. Something, he knows it. I gave him a gist on Peace FM, and some people had to call me. You see, he's crying about him being ousted from government. And that's the reason why he's doing all this. In any case, the title of that report is a useless piece of paper. And Attorney General has clearly stated so. It's a useless piece of paper. Targeting people because you've been ousted from government.
Really?
Yes, of course. But you've been in government all this while. You've been in cabinet. The Interministerial Committee is not Professor Frimpong Boateng. It's a committee's work. Why has he authored the report as an individual? He was the minister responsible for environment. That he could have
He was
done that.
asked to bring a report.
Who asked him? They said it's a committee's report you present. It wasn't a committee, he was a chairman of the committee. But it doesn't mean that he's
like the Akansi,
it doesn't mean
Bosremuka, this is what he has done.
Of course, I mean,
that he just got up, started writing and naming
of course,
people
but the investigation
without basis.
Investigation has backed my claim. Investigations, I mean, you subject that to a litmus test, and what's the results? It's a useless piece of paper. Listen.
Have you heard it said that
Please.
not all people who lose cases in court don't actually have a case?
But what is it?
Because
if you have a case, why do you lose it?
No, sometimes it's what
you know,
you are able to present.
You know what? They say that if there's no evidence to a matter, the narrative of the matter could be an evidence in the matter itself. So put out every other thing and look at the narrative of the matter. When allegation was made against his son, he quickly went to defend himself by charge a state institution. Now what he has written about all these people in government, what is it? A committee's report. It's not Frimpong Boateng's report. Why is it that none of the members of the committee has attested to this report? That makes it a useless piece of paper. And he's out of government, he's ranting. He's bitter that he's out of government. When people have been given responsibility and he prevented them from working in this country, he was happy because he was in government.
People will tell you Professor Frimpong Boateng is accomplished and doesn't need to be in government.
He could
have
be
a fulfilled
surgeon,
life.
that is fine. But where he finds himself, it doesn't mean he's a master of everything. It's a useless piece of paper he's authored. And now the Attorney General has vindicated some of us on this statement, this piece of report. You work with a committee, okay? So one would have expected that the report would be a committee's report, not Frimpong Boateng's report. He's not the only member of the Interministerial Committee on Galamsey. Why is it that they are not speaking to the report? You make wildest allegations of people holding Galamsey and doing all that. I know some of them who has not even been to a Galamsey pit before. But I'm happy after the police investigation, it's turned out that all he has said is a figment of his own imagination.
I'm actually informed that there's in existence presently an interministerial committee on illegal mining.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
He was only a chairman at the time. So if you are altering a report on your activities, like in Parliament, the chairman of a committee can also alter the report for the committee. No, you can have a dissenting opinion on the report. Let that even be captured. But you don't wake up as an individual. If he was given a report on environment, that as a minister, he can so do so. But not when you represent an entire committee with about 6 or 7 ministers. With about 6 or 7 ministers. And because you are out of government, you are ranting everywhere. I mean, some members he's mentioned had sued him. And we'll wait to see the outcome of these things. So, for whatever it is, why would you wait? You go out of government, then you are pursuing this. Has he followed his report with a single letter to cabinet on actions of this matter until he left government? It's a matter of sour grapes. Nothing else.
Okay. Yes, briefly, what do you say about
Unbelievable, sir. I feel sorry for Professor Frimpong. And as you rightly said, he's a renowned surgeon. He's somebody...
And this is not called a good teaching hospital.
This is somebody, well, you know, we all apply our trade in different walks of life. And we can be renowned in whatever we do.
Don't be distracted, keep your focus.
Yeah. I am actually quite disappointed about the way he went for the guy. And I thought it was a bit harsh, but obviously
The bottom line is that in criminal prosecution, you must be taking something to the court with evidential value. And the standard is proof beyond reasonable doubt.
I think for the professor, he has become a bit emotional with this issue. And that is obviously distorted, you know, the things that maybe he could have done differently. But what I'm surprised is that none of these interministerial people have really said anything about his report.
They have.
Because, oh really? I haven't heard.
Denies the existence of the
Because-
committee's report. So the report is Frimpong
So
Boateng's report.
it's Frimpong Boateng's report. Okay.
You should title it as
But
such.
as our lawyer friend said, justice denied today. You know, as you put it, I think better. And I believe that this is not the end of this report. It will eventually resurface again another time, another period, with probably different players.
To do what I may call a nuisance political prosecution
Well,
for the optics of it and for votes or what?
By then, the emotions that Professor Frimpong, has employed here would probably would have gone out of everything. And people will look at the report and look at the content and see it as what it is. When you read the report, I have just looked at bits and pieces. But it tells you clearly, with what we are hearing or seeing on the ground, that there is a direct correlation on what is going on. The players that he had mentioned, be it emotional, I don't really think Frimpong, is Frimpong Manso, right?
Frimpong Boateng.
Frimpong Boateng, Manso is different. Frimpong Boateng really needs to be in government. I think he has actually regretted for going into politics, because he probably didn't think this is how things were going to be.
That these people
He wanted to serve his country, probably.
A cardinal principle of criminal law is that he who alleges
I agree.
must prove.
I agree.
Some say that the Attorney General and police are expecting too much of Professor Frimpong Boateng, that he submitted something to you,
Yeah.
and you expect him to bring everything.
Yeah.
But how else could it be done?
Well, I think they have basically caught him emotionally, and they are playing on that. You know, they realize that the guy has become emotional about he's non-cooperative and all that. So they are using that to basically, obviously, you know, wash him through the tube. But this report will resurface again. I mean, we are in this Ghana, God willing, you know, we stay alive. This thing will come up again. And
If the NDC wins power,
if
that's
it's
what you're
not,
saying.
it will come up.
People can sue for malicious
Definitely.
prosecution. If you prosecute them without evidence and you embarrass them, they can sue you and they will get money and compensation.
I mean, when it comes up again, we'll look at what is on the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. We will take a break here and return to the UTV studios with 16 NPP members joining a conversation by force. We'll be right back.